President Trump was asked about the climate change report that came out recently. Of course, the findings were disastrous and incredibly scary. And his answer here is both expected, but also terrifying.
I've seen it. I've read some of it, and it's fine.
They say economic impact is devastating.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
No, I don't believe it. And here's the other thing. You're going to have China and Japan and all of Asia and all of these other countries, addresses our country. Right now, we're at the cleanest we've ever been, and that's very important to me. But if we're clean, but every other place on earth is dirty, that's not so good. So I want clean air, I want clean water, very important.
This has become one of his new talking points, and it makes me laugh every time. He said to the Washington Post, quote, "We're at a record clean." Now, of course, that's nonsense. He had Scott Pruitt as the head of the EPA. Virtually every decision from this EPA has been on the side of big business and polluters, and against the side of efficient regulations to make sure that the water's clean and the air is clean and things of that nature. So he's just wrong on that front. He's actively making everything worse because he's obsessed with deregulation. Remember when he signed that executive order? The executive order was like, for every one new regulation on the books, we got to get rid of like 2 or 3 or may have even been 4 regulations. So when you have this, when you're married to that weird concept, you're going to have to get rid of a lot of things that should be there. You're going to have to get rid of a lot of regulations that make perfect sense. So that's the first part of this. The second part of this has been their dodge for so long. Climate change, I mean, come on, we can't. Are you kidding me? We can't fight climate change because other countries aren't fighting climate change. That's not even true. If it was true, it still wouldn't matter, but that's not even true because every other country signed on to the Paris Climate Agreement. We're the only one that did not, or we pulled out of it under Donald Trump. And that's just a mild, agreement to get us started. That's not even half of how far we have to go. We got to go way further than the Paris Climate Agreement. But this argument of like, well, why should we clean our act up when nobody else is going to clean their act up? Because they are cleaning their act up and we're the only ones not doing it. And then the other dodge is, yeah, but the agreement was harder on us. Because we have more emissions than the other places do. So by definition, it's going to be harder on us. How can you make the agreement equally hard on Peru when Peru has like 1/100th the emissions we have? How are you going to make it equally hard on them? You can't, because they don't have as many emissions as we do. I mean, this is basic shit, man. Come on, but the propaganda is so deep and the brainwashing is so deep in these people that they say things that are so utterly ridiculous and they think they're nailing it as they say it. And Trump's a perfect example of that. And then finally, listen, economic opportunity is what we have in front of us now. This idea of like, oh, it's going to hurt our economy. It's going to hurt ExxonMobil. It's going to hurt Chevron. Yes, it'll hurt the coal industry. But we have millions of jobs just waiting to be created. Green technology jobs, renewable technology jobs. We can do a New Deal. We can get the inevitable patents on these new technologies. And then when that happens, the rest of the world has to come to us. And then we're ahead of everybody. It's like the same thing with, legalizing recreational marijuana. We're dragging our feet on that at a federal level. So many other places. Now Canada is legal recreational marijuana. So what's going to happen? They're the ones who are going to make the money off of it. They're the ones who are going to see the giant economic benefits before anybody else. These guys, they think they're so business savvy. They're actually the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet when it comes to economics and business. Okay, and then he said it again. I don't believe it. Now, this is the infamous tweet from Donald Trump. The concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive. So that guy is still the same guy, is the point. He is still the same guy. The idea that like, oh no, he pivoted when he ran in the general election and now he's more moderate. No, he's that same guy. That same fucking idiot is the guy who's running the country. And he still thinks it's a hoax. I don't believe it. I don't believe the report. You don't believe it's your own fucking government with detailed analysis from over 300 scientists. I don't believe it because my gut tells me something different because I watch a lot of Fox News. Well, let's put this notion to rest once and for all, even though it won't be once and for all, because, again, they're full of shit and they're idiots. A guy by the name of Jim Powell was a member of the National Science Board for 12 years. He was first appointed by Ronald Reagan and then by President George H.W. Bush. So this guy is a Republican through and through, or at least he was in Republican administrations, I should be clear. He's not necessarily a Republican. He was in Republican administrations. And his whole life has been science. Well, he looked at about 14,000 peer-reviewed scientific articles published between January 1st, 1991 and November 9th, 2012. And so this is what's called in academia a meta-analysis. You take all of the literature that's solid, that's for sure correct because it's peer-reviewed. And what did he find on the issue of climate change? Take a look. Almost 14,000 peer-reviewed scientific articles. Just 24 reject climate change. The others say, yes, it's real. Yes, it's driven by man. These clowns go, no, I think that I side with the, what is it, 0.1% of scientists. It actually annoys me, by the way, when people say 97% of climate scientists say climate change is real. I don't care if you survey climate scientists and ask them their opinion. I care what the actual empirical data shows. And the empirical data is even more conclusive. It's like 99.8, 99.9%. That's when you actually go to the peer-reviewed research. That's way more important than the opinion of somebody who is a researcher. So we actually have a stronger case than many people let on when they say 97% of climate scientists. So I need you all to understand this. There is no debate. The debate is settled. And then, of course, if you dive into the specifics of the people who did the anti-climate science studies, what are the chances you're going to find some funding from fucking Chevron or from some big oil company? And listen, many of the same people who are pushing climate change denialism are literally the same people who argued that cigarettes don't cause cancer. I'm not kidding about that. The same people, many of the exact same researchers are saying, oh, no, climate change, there's more questions. We need more study. We're not sure if climate change is happening. The same people who said, we're not sure if cigarettes cause cancer. This guy is the most powerful man in the world, and that should fucking terrify you.